solo dolo. I can never tell what's happening with this thing. Where the tension is coming from, where it's not. Pretty weird. So, end up doing this. See you a little bit better that way. Can't see me as good. I think we'll make do. Good morning. Thank you for your patience. Incessant fiddling. Insam Prakam says hi. Hi. How you doing? Let me just give my stones a few moments to set up. Get saturated with that water there. Hope y'all are having a good morning so far. How you doing, Miss Heather? What's going on with you today? We're up early on the kitten and puppy farm. Oh, we need our Today we're going to be doing a relatively simple sharpening session. I think today I may try to sharpen these spoke shaves as well for the first time. I don't use these much, but they need sharpening. Everything needs sharpening. And they're a little snaggy, so I want to make sure they're good too. Appreciate your likes this morning. What kind of coffee you having? You having tea? You having coffee? What are you doing over there? Oh my God, I didn't make this wide enough to fit. Oh. I may have to make another adjustment to my setup here. Please forgive me while I do all of this stuff that I wasn't prepared for. Maybe this will be a little quiet session. real easy way to set these up. Let's take a absolutely straight edge, like in here. What I'm using is my see that how the tip of that's proud? You know you're not there yet. Loosen it. Go whichever direction your offness is implying. In this case, I need to send the tool forward. And let get it right to a little light source. And if you get a light source behind it, it becomes very obvious. That looks close, but it's not. It's not. Too much. Takes a little dexterity to do it this way, where you guys can see. But it's very important that you're precise with this. You're going to waste a lot of time. You'd rather be spending time setting up the tool than creating an entirely new plane because you didn't take this time. The more meticulous you are about this process, the better you will be. The better your blade will be. The sharper everything can be. You can see really clearly I got a little bow in this one. And it's been that way, but I do want to flatten it out. So I am going to lock it down, and I'm going to go with some rough at first, and then I'm going to gradually get back to something a little less harsh. And this is probably going to be my worst one. And then from here, we'll go to the larger blades, which are surprisingly easier to do. That one's ready. I don't know why that doesn't just go straight to the bottom. It's so bizarre. Good morning, Calvin. How you doing? How you doing? Sorry I missed you. Started with today. I don't want to hit this one with the stone just yet. I want to hit it with the sandpaper first. Just give me a good little pull on it. Get it started, and then we'll bump up to some cool stuff. I think I'm going to just roll some of this out for a second. I know this is going to look goofy, but bear with me for 2 seconds. I'll show you. Not quite as dumb as I look. I can't even try to hide it. Can't even try to hide it. Can't even try to hide it. So what I've done here is essentially locked this paper down to my desk so it'll be flat. This is the belt sander paper. It lasts forever. We talk about that all the time. Now I'm going to wet that a little bit. And that should be enough for me for the moment. I don't know why my monitor is cutting off. It's so aggravating. So sorry. Congrats on 10K, says Rat. Very well earned. You deserve thousands more. Appreciate that. So we've got this here. Just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to move this more backwards. I'm not even going to go forward with it because I want to keep this pressure. I want to keep it even. And because this particular chisel is so narrow, easy to get off kilter, which is where we have the original problem that I'm trying to work out now. Keep it dead flat on that paper. And that's just gonna take the little bump. We got a little hump in the belly of this chisel. Shouldn't need this much extensor work, but they might. We're just going to take a little time to see if it's still that way. And I'm going to be able to do that with a perfect straight edge on this little tool here. I don't know why I lost the word for my little square, but I have. I think that's about done it. It is rough still. It's got a crazy heavy burr on it. On the back, if you can see that. Yeah, there it was. Crazy burr. So, because we are also just pulling in this one direction, do it a few more times. Pulling in one direction also keeps the burr from interfering with our blade or our cut as well. Rose says oi or zero or oh, I don't know. Shalom West, good morning, says Corey Bradley. Peace, Corey. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for having coffee with us this morning. Combination square is the word that I lost. And if you can't tell, this blade is way crooked. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about that right now. I don't know if that's detrimental to this particular piece. I might work it out later. I might. Crap. I'm going to work it out right now. I'm going to work it out right now. We've got the chisels here with us. I'm at some, why am I losing words this morning? Have a sip of coffee real quick. Straighten my brain out. Goodness gracious. We got files here. And what I want to do here, if this were a bigger chisel, my number one concern would be across the top of there, getting it 90 degrees so that I can get me a very accurate cut and a very accurate stopping point. That's also important. In this case, I don't have that. It's not off by a whole lot. It's off by enough that it's going to bother me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this all attached. This is not the right way to do it. I'm a YouTuber, so, you know, take this with a grain of salt. Right across the tip. Just gonna knock off what's not square. And it's pretty obvious. Freak most people out. Somebody's screaming into the computer right now. It's not right, dude. So, all right. That looks pretty good. This is too small for us to worry about putting extra tools on. We're going to get our paper wet again. Paper. And then we're going to pull again. This will get that metal off pretty quick. This is very aggressive. The metal is decent, not the strongest of strong, so you can get to the sharp point relatively fast. For me, I'm going to see that by putting this combination square against it again. This and this, create my pivot, and then I'm going to just put it up to the line. I can't see a single thing in between there. And that's going to be just about enough for me. I'm going to just hit it about 10 more times. Like a robot. Take a look at it again. I think I'm good. Now here's what I want to do. Is I'm going to just scoop this up ever so slightly, and we're going to start a little tiny micro bevel on the end of that. I'm going to need this crappy knife to turn this blade. And I'm just going to squeak up a little bit. Tighten it enough to not loosen it, not let it fall out, and then we'll check that against that light. That's good. I think that's what I want right there. So that we're just working the tip now. Just wet my surface again. Now I'm going to put in maybe 5 pulls. 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip it over and see what I got. Remember, this is very aggressive. I'm going to go 10 then. That didn't do much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Flip that over and check it. It's better. I'm going to do 20 more though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. Meanwhile, while I do this next 10, you can tap that like button. 1, 2, 3. All you gotta do is hit your screen like twice. Boop, boop. 9, 10. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And here is our edge, an imperfect edge still. I think I want to just put a little more on the very tippity tip. It's going to be important that that tip be solid and straight along that edge. So we're going to give it the time it needs, because after that it goes a little bit faster. But we don't want to rush it and then end up with a tool that's not performing, slowing our real work down. At the time in this moment, take a little effort, do it right. I promise you, you'd rather work with a sharp tool. There's so much you lose. Time, quality, effort, and refinishing things that the tool couldn't do because it wasn't set up properly. This is good. We are almost completely across that edge. See that little piece right there that's shining different? That's what we're trying to get rid of. That's when we'll know we're exactly right and we're exactly flat across that whole edge. I'm not going to leave this chisel at all. It's still like a robot. I'm still trying to keep it dead flat. I'm still trying to keep it even. Because leaning it over, it's just going to mean we get rid of that spot, but we'll have changed the beveled edge, and we've made a different sacrifice. Right now, the sacrifice we're making is time. That sacrifice we've been losing quality with. This sacrifice, we only gain quality. Right there. Right there, it's almost there. I appreciate all of you being here. I apologize that for some weird reason my computer just keeps kicking me out of my own, it's not kicking me out of the chat, but it's just not letting it be what it's supposed to be. It's just not letting it be live. It's so ridiculous. I'm going to come back and take a little quick pause, just for 2 seconds, and read the chats so that I can answer any questions y'all might be having. You didn't go anywhere. I'm still right here. Safety Finger, Sweaty Finger says, what have you made that you're most proud of? Two Dudes says, morning all in West. Mr. says, yo West, good morning. Matt says, what grit is that? That's 120 grit. Raphael says, hi. 8 Town Club says, fresh necklace. Thank you, sir. Wheelbarrow attachment says, Heather. That is a honing guide. It's called a honing guide. This was about $3 on Timo. You can get them all day for about 10. Mr. says, what's up to dads? Pardon says hi. So hi. And let me go back to the question. Sweaty Finger says, what have I made that I'm most proud of? It's a kind of a 3-way tie between my kids. But I guess you might be suggesting, remodel contracting. So I guess overall I would say there was a little house in Gulfport, Florida that was purchased by the investor for $68,000. And I went down there, renovated the entire house by myself. Spent all summer and half the winter and half the fall down there doing that. That's where I met my wife. And I renovated that house and won Best of Show with a 900 square foot house, 8 or 900 square foot house in the home show that year. So I'm very proud of that. Also, that house sold 4 years later for $500,000 out of originally a $68,000 investment. I'm very proud of that. I wish it was my money though. But now we have gotten it very, very clean, very, very straight right across the tip, and we are square as well. So now we can move on to the next process. That's not a booger, it's just something off of there. Okay, we can go ahead and remove this. Dad says, what's it angled at? I honestly do not know. Typically 21 degrees seems to be the aim for a good bevel. I think somewhere between 17 and 22 degrees is what's been said. But I'm not 100% sure on it, Cal. What I usually try to do is just follow and set to the manufacturer's original bevel and try to just keep maintaining that. But I don't think I've ever put an actual angle finder on them, so I don't want to tell you a lie. But that is a question worth an investigation, I would imagine. I should check it out so that I can answer that next time. Squeegee all this moisture up off the table. It's important to kind of do some of this house cleaning along the way. Keeps your wet sander from getting so messy. I'm getting a little bit better at it. I'm getting a little bit more used to it. So it's not as messy as it initially started being with me. Again, y'all know me. I'm using these Amazon Basic whetstones. I said that wet with the proper H in it. Whetstones. Hey, Jahid. What's going on? My daughter's grandfather's name is Jahid. I don't think I ever met another one. Now we got a nice smooth thing happening already. That's a good sign. That's a 400 grit we're on right now. Stone's been soaking now probably about 15 minutes or so. So I think we're pretty good in terms of saturation. We still have water ponding and pooling on the top. That's the sign that you're looking for to make sure that the metal stays nice and moist, nice and cool, and that water also removes all the little shavings and bits and particles that we are sharpening off. And we're at this stage with these stones, we're not polishing so much. We are removing material very slightly, very lightly, but we don't want that material getting back in our cutting surface, so that's why we polish the burr off at the back, and that's why we keep our stone dipping in that water so it'll stay that way. Sucker free. All right, we're going to jump on over to the 1000 grit. That's the other side of this 400, and it's right there. While I get some of this water off my hands, feel free to hit that like button up there on the top of the screen. You don't even have to do all that. You can just go boom, boom. The whole thing's done that fast. And I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Cheers to you. Hope you're having a good day. I am, for sure. What's my chat saying? Boom, boom, boom. I appreciate what you said about my fresh ass necklace. Hayden says, go back to your necklace. All right, let's do it. First, yeah. I beaded this myself, and then I also cut out the pendant, sanded it, smoothed those edges. This is off of maybe an 1/8 inch stock of walnut, black walnut. And what I did was just print out a silhouette of Africa, various sizes until I got to the size that I wanted. And then, hold on, I gotta murder something. Oh, it got away. Oh my God. Okay, sorry about that. So I ordered the walnuts in the sheets similar to this, but bigger. I'm gonna kill this thing. It's just being here. Like it's cool, and it's gonna eventually end up in my coffee. Anyway, so I had a sheet of that. Cut it out with the coping saw, and when I got around it, it dropped out. I was able to sand it around. I started again with like a 80 grit, worked my way down to a 220 grit, and got my edges nice and beveled, and sanded out some of the rounded inside corners with the Dremel tool. I think I just gotten the Dremel. I'm sorry, the rotary tool. And then I went from there. It's a fairly easy process once you're set up for it. It takes a little while, but it's not very complicated. Once you got some tools, definitely need some carving tools. Definitely need some varying degrees of sandpaper and some way to hold it. But it's enjoyable. Once I set up my Etsy shop, I'll have versions of this available, and I'll have probably some different places if I get requests from different places, and maybe put them on the site. In the meantime, though, if you want to keep up with any of that information, subscribe, and then you'll get notifications as I do stuff, because I do a lot of shorts, and the shorts are where you see most of my work presented, aside from here. This is 1000 grit still, getting nice. And see, you might notice I put my fingers here on the side. That's really just for this narrow chisel. I don't necessarily have to do that with the others, but the narrow one wants to tilt left to right a little bit, and I find that this keeps it from happening if my pressure isn't perfect. It kind of helps me keep it nice and robotic, which is what you want. You'll even notice that I'm more shifting my body back and forth. This is mostly happening at the hip, and everything else is staying as stationary as I can manage it, right? My arms aren't moving, my elbows aren't moving, my wrists aren't moving, my fingers aren't moving. This is all happening with a bend at the hip. Important to get your body language and your posture good for stuff like this, so that you can repeat the motion without fatigue, and that means you can also repeat the motion and keep the consistency going. I'm going to go ahead and bump up to my next grit, which is the 3000 grit, which is pretty high. Max says, I love your channel, man. If everyone liked, please, he deserves it. Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate you being here. Tiffany's here. Says, Wes, good to catch you. Hope you're having a great week. I'm having a good day. So I'll settle for that. I'll have a good day too. And keep working on it and see if I can create a good week. Yeah? And we're at 3000 grit. We're getting, again, nice robotic movement. Not a lot of shift, not a lot of change to anything. Just let my hips do it, let my core do it. And you know that your abs are the only muscle in your body that you can exercise, work out, and make stronger simply by flexing it. You can't flex your bicep and make it stronger. You can flex your abs and make it stronger. You can sit in a chair and flex your abs and they will get stronger. So, it's a good exercise too. I mean, you can do that with Kegels too, but try to stay kid friendly around here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bump up to that 8,000. I feel like we're going pretty good with this one so far, so we'll just keep going there. I will warn you, if you do this technique, this is a wet stone. You are, this is an abrasive, and this is liquid, and these are your fingers. So if your hands aren't like mine, you're probably gonna get calluses. So why don't you put some gloves on, you big dummy? I'll show you the right way so you don't get mad at me when you get blisters on the side of your fingers. So let me show you how to prevent that too. She says, Tiffany says, got me over here looking like making maintenance work look all relaxing. Got me over here wanting to sharpen my chisel. This is relaxing for me, weirdly enough. I like sharpening and I like sanding. These are not things that I hear a lot of woodworkers saying they enjoy. This is very satisfying for me. This is quiet. I build stuff all the time on and off camera, and my workshop is in my home. So my family being upstairs trying to enjoy a Saturday of snoozing. This way I can keep things down a little bit, Sanding blocks aren't so loud. Alright, here we go. Back to the block. Oops. I was looking at the chat and I almost fell off the edge. See all that little black stuff? That's the abrasive pulling this very fine material off the tip of that chisel. I'm going to call that one done. Let's take a look at the tip just so we can know what to expect. Get that nice shimmer all the way to the edge. And that's what we want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this to the strop. In the case of this little thing here, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, and I am going to set the strop down, and I'm going to pull that across it just like I would the other stuff. I'm just going to go one direction with it though. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this little chisel, I can't get the angle as good freehand as I can with these larger ones on the strop, on the larger strop. So this way I know I keep my bevel, I know I keep my angle, I know I'm not damaging it. I can just do the same thing. Just pressing down on that tip, pulling it across that compound. And this is a smaller strop than I use for the rest of the chisels, but this is what I'll need for this one. And again, when you do that stropping, it's very nice, and it feels so rewarding when that thing just is that shimmery. That's how you know you got it, because of that mirror finish. Now, I just left that. This is the only one that I'll likely leave inside of the gauge or the honing guide, just for this part, because it's the only one that I really have a lot of downtime trying to adjust to get straight and get perfect. So it's a little bit of a trade-off there. I'm looking for a flathead screwdriver so I can loosen this. I don't have it, so I'm going to use this right here next to me. I swear you get everything in place, you get used to it being there. You just don't even think about it anymore. That's weird. Jimmy says, where can I find that gig? You can find this anywhere. This is called a honing guide. And you can find that on Amazon all day. I got mine off Temu about 6-8 months ago. And this one only cost me like $3. Everywhere else, Amazon and whatnot, you can find one for about $8-9. It's not an expensive tool, but it saves you a ton of time. A ton of time. You can get perfect sharpen with these two tools. These Amazon blocks, whetstones, I should say, and this little honing guide or sharpening guide. Put that in your search menu. It'll come up. You'll find it. Max said, saying, I'm 13 and carving is a hobby of mine, and I got a set stones that were definitely sharpening because they could not get anything. Not sure if they're selling anymore. I think the house brand is Woodcraft. Wow, on Amazon holds pretty well. Tiffany, thank you so much for passing that information on for me while I was doing that. Hey Abdullah, how you doing? Hey Max. Appreciate you asking those good questions. A lot of people could use those answers. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Now this is also, if you're left-handed, you can put that screw on that side. If you're right-handed like me, put it on this side. Still Orthodox versus Southpaw argument all over again. See, this guide also lets me make that judgment. You see how I'm not quite there, how the tip is still available? I'm trying to find it. There we go. You can see it. That gets my suspenders. See how that tip doesn't quite make it? We want it to be like that. So we know we need to move this tool, this machine forward, or this backwards, which is what we're going to do. And we just got to gauge this. A slight guess, and then see where we are. So hold it back to the light. That looks pretty close. I'll hold it up to the light because I need to be sure. Based on the light, we're very similar to our last situation, and then we got just a little bit of a belly, but for me, I don't mind that too much on this one. That means I'm going to just scooch it forward a tiny bit, so that we can match up to the micro bevel on the very tip of that. Not quite there. I'm going to go a little bit more. And then I'll tighten it right there where we're at, I believe. Let me check it. Don't want to just give you bad habits. We gotta check it. Yes, that's good. I'll let you develop your own bad habits as you go. I don't want to give you one out of the gate. And off camera, when our stones come off the table, they go right back into the water. So you'll notice that they're pre-moistened when we get down on this thing. If there's a Harbor Freight near you, Max, you can get an all-in-one diamond block. They are, but yeah, let me show you, Max, while we're here. I've got that one too. This one looks a little grimy because it's got dust on it, and this one I use oil on, but I haven't used it in a while, so it's all dusty and stuff. But it's got all these grits, and diamond grits are different than whetstone grits. So this goes from what's called, I think it's showing 200 up to 600. These worked fine for me. I mean, they worked fine for me. I think this was better with oil, but it worked fine. I like this system better. I find it more relaxed, and I find the sharpening a little bit better, but this was not bad. It could just be, I don't know how to use it all that well. But I did get results. Did get results with it. So, always try to spend some time on a good question. I'm outside of Winnipeg. I think the closest might be in Grand Fork, but I'm not sure that's useful because we go every couple of years. Okay. Good stuff, Max. Hey, Arno. Hey, Bruce. What up, Sugar Bagoo? What up? Alright, back on the whetstones. We're on 400 now. We are tight. We have tightened our grip. We are working our situation. Feel a little clunk. I don't know what that's from. Is that from here? Let's turn our stone around. Sometimes you get a little debris that you do not want. It's a chunk. But that's going to gouge these stones. Even though they're abrasive, they are degradable. So as you go, you can cut a gouge on these, so you have to every now and then flatten it again. Hey, I got about 15 more likes since the last time I looked up there. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. If you got your phone in a safe place and you can tap that screen twice, boop, boop, that'd be dope. But if not, just chill. Alright. Look at that. See, sometimes a little debris will get on there. Gotta get it off. Again, we don't need a cradle for our stones since we've got a wooden top surface here. It seems to grab it just fine. That block is moist like it should be. It's not going anywhere. You're not putting nearly enough pressure to move that. So, flip it over. We're going to hit it with a 1000 grit now. That's just on the other side of the 400. My block is a little rusty looking because I seeded it in a little metal container. Probably shouldn't, but it doesn't seem to create a problem for me otherwise. But I'm only going to ruin one dish. You know what I'm saying? So this is it for a while. That one metal container. Again, just like a wood block. If we do this 10, 20, 30 times, I don't think we would need to go much more than that. We end up with a nice result. We can move on to the next grit up. Keep a good look at what you're doing as well. Your hands tend to go where your eyes go. So if you look off to the side, you are going to tip that blade a little bit. So if you got to read the chat, you just got to chill for a second and read the chat. Max says, but yeah, my dad usually gets from Amazon, or he says Scamazon. Tiffany can't disagree with her dad. His dad. As someone who worked for them for many years, he's not wrong. Wow. Jalathia says, I think there's a work sharpening stone that comes with a base to hold the stone, as well as a knife sharpening angle guides, which are good for beginners. That's a great piece of info. Thank you. Really like those Galicius. Those guys are a lifesaver when I first started out. This is Tiffany. Good people in here giving out some good information, y'all. Get in on it. If you're not interested in sharpening, you just want to hear sharpening things, I'm going to hold it down for the next few minutes. And we're going to move up to the 3000 grit. No wet stones. Take precaution to keep our fingers in place, pressure forward, the thumbs up behind the holding guide. We want to keep our angle secure. Remember to keep your trays up and your belongings situated in the overhead compartments until our captain gives you the signal to unfasten your seatbelts and move freely around the cabin. And we thank you for joining us on flight to Sharpening. This is your captain, Weston. And we're going to move on up to the 8,000 grit. I think that'll be pretty sufficient for 3,000. Our captain is going to move you up to the finest grit that we're going to go today on the second chisel of our 7 chisel set. Second and pause and take a look at the chat. It'd be better to search if the search engine was good, says Max. Jalaphy says, I like that one that holds the knife better, but for this application, I don't think that would work. I could never get the knife holders to work, but that's probably more user error, says Tiffany. Max says, fortunately, no stitches, but just a screw. That's good news there, Max. Good news. Re-entering our glove space right now. Just our audio. Thank you so much for hanging out with Weston. We're just going to reset real quick. Put that in there. Put that in there. Calvin from Dad's Workshop says those chisels are going to be sharp. I hope so, for sure. Seems to be a good functional system. So far, so good. That burr off the back side, and we'll take this one off the holding guide so I can gather the finger strength. And then we'll set our stones to the side. And we're going to get our strop out, our stropping compound. Let's see that process. Be my preferred application. So we're going to go ahead and go straight to the green here. Attempt to do is get as much of this compound on our strap as possible. I think it's working. And we're going to find that angle. We're just going to roll down. Noticing is that this chisel does have 2 chips in it that I'm seeing. Just noticing from the back side. But, check for it again. Maybe knock it down completely. Get our edge back. But for now, we're going to leave it be. But if you look close, very tippity tip. We got 2 little bumps that we don't like. But it's not bad. Still very sharp. But let's prove it to ourselves so we don't feel like we wasted our time. This basswood might be a good way to know it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's pretty sharp. That's maybe thickness of a thread. Pretty good. I'd say that's sharp. So we'll go ahead and set our already sharpened and finished chisels out of the way. Move up to the next one. This one is one of my favorites. I use this all the time. I think this is a 3/4. Up a little bit. Start to get some sort of feel for where that angle and where that bevel is. We'll do this. And you've seen me do this a few times, so I'm not going to bore you to death with the same exact wording for the same exact process. But you see what I'm doing is essentially finding the angle that's already there between that wheel and the tip of that chisel, and then hold it to the light. Verify that that's indeed what I have and where I'm at. Adjust accordingly. In this case, I need to send the chisel forward, or the tool backwards to get my angle sharper. Now I feel like I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and make a pressure. A little bit more pressure. And we'll go ahead and grab our stones again. Again, sitting in the water off camera. Start back with the 400 again. Excuse me for a quick second. I am going to move some of this debris off here because my stones flip over. I just don't want to bring more junk to it. So give me 2 seconds so I can re-squeegee the work area. What's that piece of wood? Yeah, we don't have to be neat freaks, but we can be a little freaking neat. Okay. 400 is what we start with these stones, and here we are. Get you a little bit closer to the action. Check live. See, I don't hear a lot of resistance, and I don't feel a lot of resistance. That means that I don't have to stay on that stone excessively long because I'm not having to cut off a bunch of material. Because you don't have to knock off a lot of material every time you sharpen it. Sometimes you're just touching up that edge. In this case, there's not a lot of material coming off. I don't feel a ton of resistance. I like that. Because of that, I typically move on to the next stone pretty quickly. Make sure I take care of my burr on the backside. Low roll. Pull up in a spaceship on the plug on skirt. Nice and smooth. This process going a little bit faster because these wider chisels will stay pretty flat on the stone on their own without as much focus and concentration from me. And you wouldn't start off too bad, so I'm not going to expect it to be too bad. We just ran on that 3,000 for what, about 15 passes, and we're going to go ahead and bump up to the 8,000 and do the same. Calvin, Dad's Workshop, says it looks pretty good. Thanks, Calvin. He would know. Calvin sharpens his chisels pretty frequently. And he puts them through a lot of work. So we're doing timber framing a bed from scratch. More than from scratch. He's doing it from construction lumber. He's laminating pieces together and making it stronger. He's doing these huge dovetails along the rails. You know, typically you'll have slats sitting on top of a little 1x or something. Just, you know, so many ways we've seen cheap slats made, and these things are 2x's on their side, dovetail cut into them, and they're specific to the joint. It's very, very time-consuming work, very detail-oriented work. And you do something like that, and he's made a few of these beds. I mean, your skill set just gets off the chart sharp and efficient. So it's a joy to watch. You can go over there almost every day and see Calvin working, get your woodworking lessons. Some nice relaxing vibes in too. And all the creators that I know this month have been promoting the idea that if you have a favorite creator, you should consider joining their channel and becoming a member. We all enjoy it, or else we wouldn't do it. But like anybody who invests their life source into anything, a financial payout is of some benefit. And I'm going to do the old public television speech right now. If you enjoy what you've been seeing from their channel, give them a like, give them a follow, give them a subscribe. And if you can afford it, give them a membership. It's like $2-3. Anyway, I'm off my horse, and I appreciate y'all's attention on the matter. If you feel guilty about that, not subscribing and not being a member, double tap the screen. Get your guilt off you. Free yourself. Guilt comes from not taking action on something you feel like in your soul you should take action on. That's all it is. So just take an action. This action you can take 2 fingers in 2 seconds. 1 finger, 1 second. If you can time like, hold on, let's see. Count to 1, ready, go. Hit it twice, done. You know what I mean? Calvin says, thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you for your invaluable content. Calvin's taught me a lot about woodworking. A lot about wood species. It's like a educational channel over there. If you got questions, you can get over there. Get them answered. Me, mostly, I'm just here to look sexy. Just kidding. Like I said, because my wife is upstairs. Calvin's is right there behind the camera. Get your throat chopped. Let's see if this cuts anything. Oh, we gotta strop it. We gotta strop this. Let's go ahead and go to our strop. Where's our compound? Here. Our strop is here. We'll just plant that right there in the old torso. What I'm doing is trying to get some of this off onto here. It's leather. Once I have, I'm going to pull this angle right across it. First I'm going to clean that water off it. Get it back. Let me just try to ride it flat mostly. Thank you for those 2 people who felt guilty enough to hit that like. I appreciate you, fam. The rest of y'all are heartless. Some real cold pieces, man. Real piece of work. You're real. What could I call you? That would be mean and hurtful. Because I love you anyway. God dang it. I can't hate you. I love you. We got some good stuff coming up, but we gotta have these chisels nice and sharp for them. This one I use pretty frequently. I am gonna make a little extra, take a little extra work on it. To be one of my faves. I'm gonna take a look at the tip of that blade, because that's what we care about, right? Very, very tip of the top. Nice and clean, something. Can't lie. Something just ain't right. Alright, let's find a piece of paper to cut it. You know what? I'm going to use this same basswood. See if we can get a little sliver off of it. I don't know if y'all can see that hat. Pretty remarkable. Teeny tiny little pigtails. So, yeah, that's sharp. That's what we want to know is actual woods creators. That wasn't the right word. But that's what we want to know is can it cut wood and can it do it like that. I'm going to just go ahead and preset some compound on this time. And I'm going to set it to the side. But when I need it, we're going to bump up to our next size up. Open our chisel, our honing device. Again. Hey, I got another like. Thank you for the 45. Some of y'all's favorite number is 45, ain't it? Let's tighten that up. Let's see where we're at. Not even Clizzos. So run that back. Slide it forward. Tighten it down. Check it against our straight edge. Don't know if y'all can see if it's good, but I gotta hold it up to the light over here. And the light says I'm close but no cigar. I gotta go forward just a smidge more. And that was a smidge. I could tell a smidge when I do a smidge, so we can trust that one. But if you look, you can see that I'm not sitting dead flush on this side, right? You got to pay attention to that, because if you're not, you're going to be working a bevel the wrong way. Now we're tight. Now we're level. And now we'll have a consistent edge. Let's double check our angle again. I know it's tedious, but that's how we got to be if we want finely tuned tools. It's already a cheap tool. You don't want to have a cheap tool that's not tuned. You end up with a mess. If you got a cheap tool, you better make sure that the parts that you can control, that you do. The grade of steel, if you already got the tool, that's not in your control. So you'll just have to learn for yourself how often you have to sharpen, not keep a straight edge and keep a clean edge. See how that's fairly loud compared to the rest of them? Because of the surface area being a wider tool, but also we've been cutting down the middle of this piece this whole time. And now we're getting a little wider. So let's take some time. This is a flattening stone. It takes not a lot of time to run across that edge. It's also sitting in the water with the wet side. And that's going to knock off any unevenness on the surface. So that way we're not putting an unpredictable bow into our chisel. You can adjust the sides in a little bit on a chisel. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a bad thing if we can't control it. hear now how that's starting to lighten up in terms of the sound. It's not quite as loud as it was. Chuck says, I cut my finger with this when I got done sharpening it, bruh. Don't cut your finger. Always keep your finger out of the way of the blades. But congratulations on making a sharp chisel, I guess. Silver lining, you know. Back in. I'm gonna hit that again on that 400. Make sure, like a lot of material came off on that. I want to make sure it's good. I got 2 more likes. I appreciate that. Bless y'all for the big ups. Mom, what's going on? How you doing? Or is that on me? I can barely read from here. Sorry. I messed up my name. Flip that over. Get that little touch off the back. We're going to get it back in our water. Those are your wet stones. That is the intended purpose for them to be wet. We'll go to the 1000 grit now. And Jabru says, cool tool, sir. What's the name? This is a honing guide. You can find this in your search bar. This particular honing guide came from Timu 6 months ago or so. Got it for really cheap, like $3, $4. But you can find these all day on Amazon of equal quality. This is not the greatest quality, but it seems to suffice. For maybe $7, $8. Not an expensive tool, but a really valuable tool for me. Michelle says, good morning, Wes. Good morning, Michelle. Mike and Mary Brown says, hi. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Doing a little sharpening today. I am using the Amazon whetstones. It comes with 2 stones, well, 3 stones, which is 4 grits and a flattening stone. Right now I'm moving to the 3000 grit from the 1000 grit. How you doing today, Michelle? I'm going to keep this going like a little robot. We don't want to make too many changes in our movement so that we can keep our blade and our edge as straight and as consistent as possible. Right now that's happening okay. And we're going to go ahead and call it on that one. And we're going to loosen our honing guide with just a flathead screwdriver, no big deal. Try our chisel. And then we're going to move on to the strop. Today I'm not doing a whole lot of extra on the strop. I'm just putting on the polishing compound. And then I'm going to give it a couple of good runs on that. I'm not spraying on any microns of liquid polish today. Just gonna go with this nice wax polish. So far, we've been getting great results. Try to keep our angle the same. Thank you for the likes. Somebody else jumped in there and looked out for your boy, and I appreciate it. I don't want y'all to go unnoticed on the effort. You really don't have to do it, and I'm thankful when you do. So here we are. We're going to go to the back side as well. Again, we're going to try to stay pretty close to the angle we start with, but of course we can't hold it perfect. We'll hold it best we can. That seems to do it. Let me hit the front again. Matter of fact, let me put a little bit more polish on this thing again. And here we go again. And that polish hopefully lets things just slide across that blade. It's time. I think it's time. Let's give it a shot. See if we can match that with one of these stronger, heavier blades. Let's try it. Oops. It's hard to hold on to them little things. There it is. And if we can quietly get that off of a piece of wood, I don't think we need to make this more sharp than that, right? Thank you for number 51, whoever you are who hit my like screen. I appreciate you. Two little fingers doing that one little motion, and that one finger doing those two motions makes a world of difference to me and the algorithm, and its support of me. Sometimes people don't hit it like as not some protest. You just don't think about it, you know. But it will affect who gets my videos presented to them and who doesn't. So I do thank you. We actively make the effort to get it presented to you. So that's what I'm going to ramble about while I change to the next chisel that we're going to get together. I'm going to put this one right over here. And the other ones that are nice and sharp, that's 5. This should be number 6. And then we'll move on to figuring out how we make these spoke shaves sharp. Thank you for the 2 more likes. I thank you for that. I hope that doesn't annoy y'all that I do that, but I do want to acknowledge people. If you tell me to shut my hole, I might do it. It's almost there, but not quite. We're getting closer and closer on that first try, y'all. Make sure it's flat, meaning it's touching the rail down here. You could also lock it in up here or on this top. But I find that these rails are the most reliable for me. Tighten that, and then I'm going to check it again. Alright, we're already set on our micro bevel here. So what I'll do is start again with the 400. Not going to make a lot of passes, maybe 15. Oh, snap, I got 2 more likes. Thank y'all. I appreciate you too coming in here and doing that. You didn't have to. It's good people in this room. And you can express it without doing a whole lot. And I can encourage people without doing a whole lot. So I appreciate that there are 56 people that are willing to show me some support in the way that they could. So thank y'all. I hope I'm giving you some value in what you're watching. If not, you let me know. I need to step it up. This is a 400 grit. I'm going to put it back in the water. rinse off what we just shaved off. And then we're going to go right back to it and hit that 400 again. Jaburi says, thanks for the name, but it's not easy to get here. Michelle says, I'm good. She says, Mike says, can you use that on knives? Yeah, Mike, you can. You absolutely can. You do have to use a different technique. The honing blade, I think if you're talking about the honing stone, I don't think so. I don't personally see how you could, but there may be something out there that you can. The stones themselves, absolutely, you can use these to sharpen a knife with. Goody the Butcher says, I'm 18, starting to do woodworking just like you. Grody the Butcher, then you are way ahead of me. Boom. I didn't start until I was 51. 52 now. So, good stuff. By the time you're my age, you'll be retired. You'll be so good. I've done it all. I've done it all. Your YouTube channel will be freaking 30 years old. Grody says, I love your content. I'm on my own without the family, and your videos bring me joy. So I started doing woodworking just like you. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome. I thank you for sharing that with me. Hey, David, good to see you in the chat, too. That's inspiring. Like, sometimes you know, as a content creator, you think, maybe I won't do it today. Maybe I won't do it. And then somebody comes on and says, thanks for doing it. And it feels worthwhile. It feels like you did the right thing. So, it feels good to me too, so thank you. Brother, we're at the 1,000 grit right now, on the opposite side of the 400 grit wet sandstone. It's the Amazon Basic set. That's pretty good. One more, you gave me another like, I appreciate it. Thank you. We're at 57 now. That's pretty cool. Just chugging along here. Again, this is Enjoy Your Favorite Content Creator and Supporter Month. I've been talking about it, and we're going to continue talking about it this month. If you have a favorite content creator, it doesn't have to be me. I don't expect that it's me. There's a lot of people out there. But go find your favorite one and subscribe, like join through the membership. And it's right there, down on the bottom of the screen. You can join right there, to the right. Or you can contribute, or you can give memberships. But either way, support. Like, it's a nice thing to do, and it lasts for a whole month. Like $3, and you get exclusive stuff for a whole month. And if you want to renew, you keep on. If you don't, just let it fall off. But I just wanted you to remind you that some of these people, this is their only source. This is work. Some people are doing it for fun. Some people are doing it for work. But either way, it's time out of their lives. And I'll jump off of my soapbox. We were on the 1,000 grit, and I'll settle for just some likes. And look at it. 2 more you looked out for me while I was running my mouth. Thank you. We're at 59, and that's great support as well. You don't always have to hit the money button to give some support. Your attention is just fine by me. We're at 3,000 grit right now, and this thing seems to be going pretty good. Anthony says, are the 2 sides of the stone different? Absolutely. I'll show you real quick. This one is a 3,000 grit. This one's an 8,000 grit. Between these two, this is a 400 grit. This surface is a 1,000 grit. So it starts off with the lower grits, the 400, which is rougher, and it moves all the way up to the 8,000 grit on this white part, which is very fine. and we work our way up from the rougher, lower grits to the higher grit. It's important to step it up gradually. And that way you get a nice consistent finish. Anthony says, how often do I do it? Whenever necessary. It depends really on how much work you're doing, how many cuts you're making. And I honestly haven't been woodworking long enough to get a feel for that. I have been working up, by the way, moved up to the 8,000 grit, which is my highest grit. I haven't done woodworking long enough to get a feel for how many strokes it takes to get to sharp and stay there, or get to dull. I will say, get used to your chisels, use them often, and sharpen them often at first, and you'll be able to tell when it's sharp and when it's not, and you'll get your own feel for the sensation of when you need to sharpen your chisels. If you use them regularly, it doesn't hurt you to sharpen them more. You'll never wear them all the way down, so I would say practice makes perfect. I do it once a week just to get good at it. Again, I'm at the 8,000 grit right now. Keeping a smooth, robotic movement. Back to the abs and hips and core moving. Everything else properly positioned. Clean off the burr. And then we're ready for the strop. We'll go ahead and return that to the water. Dry off a little bit. We can unscrew that. Get any excess up. And we're on to the strop and the compound. David says, I'm about done with the welding school and I found the same pleasure working with metal. That's amazing. Wow. Sounds good. I have not done any welding ever, and I'm so curious about it. I think I want to get into it. I got a couple things to do in front of it, but I'm definitely going to eventually end up with some welding equipment in here. I'm pretty sure. Grody says, I want to start doing this for work. How do you start? I couldn't tell you, if I'm being honest. I've never earned a living as a woodworker. I earned my living as a remodel contractor, renovations guy. And that started for me with roofing, and then went to framing, carpentry, and then sheetrock, siding, to flooring, to eventually plumbing, electrical, and now mostly do bathroom renovations, kitchen renovations, home improvements and whatnot. This I've begun to do as a stress reliever, and it's something that's enjoyable to me and that I was curious about doing. I've contemplated hardly any on how to actually make money woodworking. So I don't want to lead you astray and give you an uneducated answer on that. That may be a question suited for someone who actually works in that industry. I wish I could give you more. Marcela Sanchez says, amo la carpintería y el tallado en la madera. Dios y pendeja por tener gracias por tus videos. I don't know. Appreciate your answer. Seems like you're going to places. Wish you well. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Brody says, I appreciate your response. Well, I appreciate your question. I wish I had a better one. I wish I had someone in the chat who got the answer for that as well. But now, we've got nice and sharp. Let's see what we can do here. Hey, William, I'm sorry I missed your hi. Hi, David. And Manolo, how you doing? Let's see if we can get another sliver off of this. There's a little slice. Yeah, we can get a little ribbon. And just so you can see the size comparison, like, that's amazingly small. So, we have sharpened our chisels. Mission accomplished. We got good edges on everything. We got some good cuts on everything. Now we've got to figure out a project that we can utilize these tools on that you might want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and log off. If you got an idea for a project, you can just comment down below and I'll see it when I come back. And my messages will pop up and it'll let me know that I got a message in this video. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. Wes does it. It's been a great Saturday morning. I enjoyed having my coffee with you. Hope you enjoyed your morning with me. We'll see you later. Yeah. Peace. Top fans here is Matt Whitfield, Grody the Butcher, Anthony Benway, Your Average Ohioan, Tiffany, Miss Heather, and Jewel Brulame. We also have Mr. Pimp and David come in here with Michelle and Jalatius and help us out too. Thank all y'all. Top fans. What a great option. Peace.